What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. Hopefully, you guys having a good day so far. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the upcoming summon event that's going to be paired up with the summon rush that's going to be paired up with the fusion that's ongoing right now. So you can kind of see here in the event tab, we do have a summon rush happening in 17 hours. I apologize that this video might sound a little bit sick. I am a little bit sick, so I've been taking a little bit more rest. But yeah, we got 17 hours until the summon rush. Let's check out the news here a little bit. So, hey y'all, this Friday, June 5th, we're planning to launch a progressive event, giving you a 15x chance to summon the champions of your choice from the following pool of ancient, primal, sacred, and void shards. So the big champion here that I think most people probably don't have would be Pelagus, the Wave Walker. So this is a brand new Argonite. This guy, he's a speedster. He's got 115 base speed, which is, best in the game. And then he's got a speed and arena battles, 28%. It's pretty nice. Let's check out his kit here. Is he actually worth anything? He's got an A1 triple hit. He's got a 75% chance when fully booked of stealing 5% of the target's turn meter. Fills all allies' turn meter by an amount equal to the total amount of turn meter stolen. So he can take, best case scenario, you can take 15% of the target's turn meter, and then your allies also gain 15% turn meter on the A1. Could be good if you have like ally attacks and stuff like that. You're just getting constant turn meter. His A2 on a 3-turn cooldown is a AoE strip, no touch, and then it's going to place decreased speed and weaken. Actually, not too bad, right? Very useful debuffs. Decreased speed and weaken can be used for places like Hydra even on a 3-turn cooldown. And then lastly, on the A3, it's on a 3-turn cooldown, has a 100% chance of placing block passive and enfeeble on a target for 2 turns. So it's on a single target, and it also steals all the turn meter from that target. It's a pretty disabling ability. You block their passives, you enfeeble them, and then you steal all their turn meter. It's a very, very crippling ability. Obviously, this is not going to work through something like Stone Skin, something like Mercurial, but if without those are going to be pretty good. And it requires accuracy for all this stuff, of course. The passive places 100% ensnare on the enemy with the lowest turn meter for 2 turns at the end of this champion's turn. This debuff cannot be resisted. So ensnare basically just shuts down turn meter effects. So if it's 100% ensnare, that means 100% of that champion's turn meter doesn't work on them. Whenever an enemy has their turn meter increased by a skill, also fills the champion turn meter by 15% and occurs once per turn. We can safely assume that this happens relatively frequently. So he's going to get 15% turn meter boost pretty quickly. And that's it. So for this guy, he doesn't bring any crowd control really. He has a little bit of the turn meter steal stuff, which is really nice. A1 turn meter steal, A3 turn meter steal, enfeeble. There's a little bit of crowd control. Passives, block passives is very nice. I think he's useful, but he's not going to be top tier. So for example, he's very fast. You can run him as a leader, get him in there right away, strip your enemies off, decrease speed, and then get in here and then shut down one champion. Unfortunately, since it's only one champion, obviously less effective than everybody. Is he worth it? I think he's probably like an average level legendary at this point in the game. But not a lot of people have them, so maybe just for collector purposes might be worthwhile. Up next, we have Venalicia from the Night Revenant. She's actually a very decent support reviver. She has a full team support. With a reduction in cooldown skills. This is actually really strong on a 4-turn cooldown. Her other ability on a 3-turn cooldown, she brings AoE block buffs and decreased defense. This is probably one of the best decreased defense block buff because before attacking, she actually strips the enemy also. And her A1 brings a weaken. Her passive also brings a little bit of value, gives you a little bit of a turn meter fill when somebody dies, gives her a bit of a heal if they're under Pain Link, and she places Pain Link for 2 turns on enemies who deal damage equal to 25% or more of an ally's max HP with a single hit. And then lastly, accuracy in all battles. She's decent support champion, brings a lot, brings debuffs, brings a revive. Can be useful in a lot of places. I like her. She's good. And then up next, we have Crocad. Crocad from the Orcs. Definitely game changer if you have him and Shayak together. These guys deal a ton of damage. This guy is very strong. 3-turn cooldown, bring leech and weaken. He's got an A1 ally attack that ignores reflect damage, ally protection, pain link. And then he has a single target here that hits super hard. And his passive gives him some additional damage output. He's just all out damage, very strong with Shayak. He's equivalent to like 2 damage dealers if you have him built well. Definitely a worthy champion to chase if you have Shike and you need help in Hydra, for example. But he's not just a Hydra champion. He can help you in Centranos, he can help you in Faction Wars, and all that good stuff. After that, we have Newt. Newt needs no introduction, one of the best fusions of all time. Triple hit max HP, that's taking away 30% of the boss's damage or 30% of the target's damage in one hit. AoE weaken with a counterattack on himself, and then a triple hit freeze, turn meter drop. This is very important for hard Fire Knight. If you have him, it makes things a lot easier. Accuracy in all battles, or accuracy in dungeons. But yeah, very, very powerful. We don't need to know. Yeah, he's one of the highest damage dealing single hit champions against bosses, anyways, in terms of the max HP output. So yeah, very, very strong champion. And lastly, for the non-voids, we have Estrid, Dream Song from the Sylvan Watchers. Estrid, very nice champion, was a fusion a couple years ago. It brings increased speed, increased attack, and a turn meter fill, and then decreased speed and a weaken and a turn meter drop. Very, very nice here. These two together. Big speed in arena battles. And then she actually brings a little bit of a heal. There's an interesting interaction where if Sun Wukong revives, he can full heal your whole team because he's getting full turn meter, and then his heals are based off of the max HP. Sorry, and then the heals are based off of the turn meter that they got. So when Sun Wukong revives, he gets full turn meter, and then this passive will heal everybody on the team. It's actually pretty interesting. A1, it's a sleep. Can be kind of annoying in arena, so you don't see her very often in arena, but she can be a speed booster. She does have 115 base speed, which is the best in the game. So very, very good champion. Can be used for Hydra. Just generally very good. Let's check out the Void legendaries, and this is where things get a little bit interesting. We have the brand new event dungeon Void champion, and it's going to be Rhaia the Mourned. Rhaia the Mourned. Make sure you guys check out the showcase I did on her. She's absolutely nuts. You build her out full damage, and she can actually crank. She does have the triple hit AoE attack here, which is super strong. This is super strong, especially when she has her passive, which allows buffs and instant effects cannot be resisted. So when things cannot be resisted, this ability gets ridiculous. So she's stealing all your stuff. She's getting a bunch of turn meter, and then she's triple hitting you with the plus attack. So this ability is nuts. This ability, it places a weaken. It goes through block damage. It can stack up to 50% ignore damage, ignore defense, which is very strong. So it has potential to basically one-shot a lot of things. And then she resets the cooldown by 1 turn and then places stun on everybody. This ability can be very strong. It's on a 3-turn cooldown. And then lastly, her A1 has a bit of ignore defense, a bit of healing, and extra turn when you kill a target is also very good. The hardest part about her, I think, is to get these buffs off consistently, especially if you're looking for the irresistible abilities. And of course, the cheat death mechanic. You need these buffs. It's easy to start the round with these buffs, but as the round progresses, you have to, you want to try to reapply these buffs so that she gains her full strength. The easiest champion that I found was Duchess. Duchess just has all of this in one ability on a 4-turn cooldown. So, that could be a way to make her really, really work, but she's really, really strong. Up next for the Void champions, we have Insenza Grailheart. Insenza, also from the Sylvan Watchers. Very strong champion too. I have this champion. She brings an AoE decreased defense and a weaken. Will ignore block buffs on a 3-turn cooldown. Very good. This ability is very strong. 3-turn cooldown. Big turn meter boost. So basically, you're buffing up one champion, giving them a big turn meter boost. Could be useful for teams like Titus teams, Trunda teams, where you're focusing a lot on one champion and getting their damage output. Also, if you put her in a 9-piece protection set, she's giving 3 buffs here. So that's a little bit of extra damage. And then her AoE1 is an AoE decreased attack, and then your highest crit damage ally will join in to attack. So this is actually pretty strong. It gives a lot of damage, and it's an AoE ability. So if you don't want to use 9-piece protection, you give her like Hex or something, and she can be very strong for places like Hydra. I like this champion. I do use her in one of my Hydra teams for max damage. And then lastly, we have Caroline the Ringer. Caroline from the Night Revenants. Kind of looks like metal Santa Claus. 109 base speed with 30% speed in arena battles. As an A1, 50% chance to decrease the duration of all enemy buffs. It's an AoE, which is very nice. The A2 on a 3-turn cooldown places Hex and Weaken. If the target's under freeze, the duration will increase from 2 turns to 3 turns. Not crazy benefit, but it's a pretty solid ability already. Already on a 3-turn cooldown without any books, by the way. And then his A3 on a 5-turn cooldown, books down to 3, places freeze on all enemies for 1 turn, defeats the turn meter of all enemies that receive freeze from the skill. This is pretty crazy. Fills the turn meter of all allies by 10% for each freeze debuff attempted, blocked, or resisted by the enemy team. So you're pretty much going to get like, 40, 50% turn meter. Oh, sorry, my bad. It says freeze debuff attempt, blocked, or resisted by the enemy team. Okay, so you're only going to get turn meter by the freeze that gets blocked and resisted. Sorry, it's a little bit weird reading. So probably not a big turn meter fill here, maybe like 10, 20%. But yeah, this is a very nice ability. And then passive, allies will ignore 10% of the target's defense if they're under freeze. If the freeze debuff was placed by the champion, allies will ignore 20% of the target's debuff, target's defense instead. A little bit of a damage enabler. He does have some CC with the freeze, some turn meter stuff. Not a crazy void, legendary, or anything like that in 2026, but not too bad. Can be useful. And lastly, quick shout out here for the epics. We do have Geomancer on deck, and we do have Seer also available for people that are looking for some nice epics. Overall, obviously, the big draws for this summon rush would be Rhaia. Would be Rhaia, obviously the event for dungeon boss. She's very strong for a void legendary. And then for the non-voids, it's a little bit less clear. It really depends on what you're looking for. Like, for example, Newt is really strong. If you don't have him, you're probably going to put him for the progressive event. For the other ones, I mean, it really comes down to what you have, what you need, what you don't have. But Newt would be my top priority pick if you guys don't have him. Now, in terms of the fusion schedule, I haven't put up my fusion plan yet because like I said, I woke up late and I got a little bit extra rest because I was a little bit sick and still am sick. But there's 3 summon events for this fusion schedule. And for the upcoming summon rush that's happening in 6 to 17 hours, they're giving us 20 fragments in the first one. And we can only skip 30. So we can't full skip this upcoming summon rush unless you want to complete the other 2. So you can full skip this one and complete. So it really depends on how many summon events you want to participate in, right? So you can skip 30 from the overall schedule. You technically could skip, like full skip this one for 20 points worth, but that means you're doing 2 summon events, the other 2 summon events afterwards. That could be a viable option. Currently, obviously, with the progressive event and these champions, it might not be too interesting to you. So pulling for this summon rush might not be the best idea. But then, like I said, you got to complete 2 other summon rushes, which might not be ideal either. In any event, you guys decide whether you guys want to, play it safe, do the summon rush, or you can perhaps skip it or skip parts of it and then focus on the other 2 summon events later on in the schedule. I'll put on the schedule later today once I get around to it. I'm feeling not too good right now. But anyways, that's going to be it for this summon news for the weekend. Let me know in the comments below what you guys are planning to do. Thanks for watching until the end. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.